Commander Hyunwoo stared at the display screen in front of him. The green dots on the radar had been the same for 3 hours. Nothing moved in this part of space. Nothing ever moved here. The Calvarian Dominion controlled everything, and their ships followed strict paths between stars. But now something was different. "Sir," called Lieutenant Yunji from her station. "I'm getting a strange reading on long-range sensors." Hyunwoo walked over to her console. The numbers on the screen made no sense. "What am I looking at?" "Unknown contact. Distance is about 2 million kilometers and closing." "But sir, there's something wrong with the readings." Hyunwoo frowned. In his 20 years serving on Border Station Nexus 7, he had never seen anything like this. The station sat at the edge of Dominion space, watching for pirates or rebel ships. Most days were boring. Today was not boring. "Show me the details," he said. Yunji touched several buttons. More numbers appeared on the screen. "The object is moving at incredible speed, faster than our best warships. And, sir, it has no transponder signal. Every ship in Dominion space had a transponder. It was the law. Ships without transponders were either pirates or enemies, but pirates didn't have ships this fast. Size estimate? That's the strange part. Sir, the computer says it's about 300 meters long, but the energy signature is almost nothing. Our ships that size put out massive energy readings. This thing barely shows up." Hyunwoo rubbed his chin. Something was very wrong here. "Send a message to Admiral Taemin. Tell him we have an unidentified vessel approaching our sector." The communication system crackled to life. Within minutes, Admiral Taemin's face appeared on the main screen. The older man looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. "Commander Hyunwoo, report." "Sir, we have an unknown ship approaching from deep space. No transponder, no identification. Speed and energy readings don't match anything in our database." Admiral Taemin leaned forward. "Are you certain it's not one of ours?" "Positive, sir. I've checked all military and civilian databases. This ship doesn't exist in our records." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "I'm sending you additional data. We've had similar reports from 17 other border stations in the last 6 hours, all reporting unknown vessels with similar characteristics." Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. 17 other ships? This wasn't a single pirate or smuggler. This was something bigger. "What are your orders, sir?" "Maintain position and observe. Do not engage unless directly threatened. I'm bringing the Third Fleet to your location." The communication ended. Hyunwoo turned back to his crew. The bridge was quiet except for the soft humming of computers. "Yunji, how long until the contact reaches our position?" "At current speed, about 40 minutes, sir. 40 minutes to figure out what they were dealing with." Hyunwoo ordered his crew to run every scan they could. The results were confusing and frightening. The ship was definitely there. It was definitely moving. But it seemed to ignore the basic rules of physics. Ships needed massive engines to move that fast. This ship showed almost no engine signature. Ships needed thick armor to survive in space. This ship's hull readings were strange and unclear. "Sir," called sensor operator Jun-ho, "I'm detecting something new." "What is it?" "The ship is slowing down. But, sir, there's no engine burn, no thruster activity. It's just slowing down." Hyunwoo walked to the main viewing screen. Space looked empty, but he knew the ship was out there, getting closer every minute. Lieutenant Yunji suddenly stood up. "Sir, the ship is broadcasting a message." "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with static. Then a clear voice spoke in perfect Dominion Standard language. "This is Captain Dong-hyun of the Earth vessel Soul's Pride. We come seeking dialogue with the Galactic Dominion leadership. Please respond." Everyone on the bridge looked at each other. Earth? No planet called Earth existed in any Dominion database. And what was this about dialogue? Enemies didn't usually ask for dialogue. Should we respond, sir? Asked Yunji. Hyunwoo thought carefully. Admiral Taemin had said not to engage unless threatened. This didn't sound like a threat. Open a channel. Channel open, sir. Unknown vessel. This is Commander Hyunwoo of Dominion Border Station Nexus 7. You are entering restricted Dominion space without proper identification. State your intentions. The response came quickly. Commander Hyunwoo, we appreciate your courtesy. We seek a meeting with your leadership to discuss matters of mutual interest. We come in peace. Peace. Pirates didn't talk about peace. Rebels didn't either. Unknown vessel, you claim to represent a planet called Earth. This planet is not in our databases. Please explain. A pause. Then the voice spoke again, sounding almost amused. Commander, we understand your confusion. Earth is indeed not in your current databases. We have remained unnoticed. Until now. Recent developments require us to make formal contact. Unnoticed? How could an entire planet remain unnoticed by the Dominion? The Empire had mapped most of the galaxy. They had colonies on thousands of worlds. Sir, whispered Junho, Admiral Taemin's fleet is arriving. Through the viewing screen, Hyunwoo could see the massive shapes of Dominion warships dropping out of hyperspace. 20 of the Empire's most powerful vessels, led by the flagship Eternal Glory. The mysterious ship seemed unconcerned by the arrival of the fleet. It continued on its steady approach, now only 10 minutes away. Admiral Taemin's voice filled the bridge again. Commander, status report. Sir, the vessel claims to represent a planet called Earth. They're requesting dialogue with Dominion leadership. They say they come in peace. Earth. The Admiral's voice sounded puzzled. That name appears in some very old files, ancient exploration reports from the Outer Rim. But those worlds were classified as uninhabitable. The unknown ship was now close enough to see on visual sensors. It appeared on the main screen and everyone on the bridge gasped. The ship was beautiful. Its hull was a smooth, dark material that seemed to absorb light. No visible weapons. No obvious engines. It moved through space like it belonged there, like space itself was helping it along. My God, whispered Yunji. What kind of technology is that? The voice of Captain Dong-hyun spoke again. Admiral Taemin, we detect your fleet's arrival. Impressive ships. We would be honored to meet with you to discuss our respective positions. In this galaxy, Admiral Taemin responded directly. Captain Dong-hyun, you will halt your approach immediately and submit to inspection. You are in violation of Dominion space law. Admiral, we respect your authority in this region. However, we are not subject to Dominion law. We represent an independent human civilization. We seek cooperation, not conflict. The word human sent another chill through the bridge crew. Humans were mythical creatures from old stories. They weren't real, but the ship floating in front of them was very real. Sir, reported Junho, his voice shaking. I'm getting readings that don't make sense. The ship's mass is wrong. Its energy output is wrong. Everything about it is impossible. Admiral, Taemin's fleet moved into position around the human ship. 20 massive warships surrounding one small vessel. It should have been intimidating. Instead, Captain Dong-hyun sounded calm and patient. Admiral, we understand this situation is unusual. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting. We have much to discuss about the future of this galaxy. Hyunwoo realized that everything was about to change. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy for 3 centuries. They were the most powerful force known. But now something new had arrived, something that didn't seem impressed by Dominion power, something that called itself human. Empress Ne-Young stood at the center of the Great Council chamber. The massive room was filled with the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Senators, admirals, governors, and advisors all sat in their assigned places, waiting for her to speak. She had ruled the Calvarian Dominion for 15 years. In that time, she had faced rebellions, pirate attacks, and political challenges, but nothing like this. "Members of the High Council," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "We face a situation unlike any in our history." "Admiral Taemin, please report." The Admiral stood and activated a holographic display in the center of the room. Images of the strange ships appeared, floating in the air above the council members. "Your Majesty, 18 ships of unknown design have appeared at our borders. They claim to represent something called the human civilization from a planet called Earth. All attempts to locate this planet in our databases have failed." Governor Huan Su raised his hand. "Could this be some kind of rebel trick? A new weapon designed to frighten us?" Admiral Taemin shook his head. "Sir, our best scientists have analyzed the sensor data. These ships use technology beyond our understanding. They move without visible engines. Their hulls are made of materials we cannot identify." Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung stood up. He was an old man, but his mind was still sharp. "Your Majesty, I have studied the readings personally. These vessels appear to violate several fundamental laws of physics as we understand them." Murmurs spread through the council chamber. Several members looked frightened. "Explain," said the Empress Jae Sung activated his own display. Complex diagrams filled the air. "The ships show no heat signature from engines, yet they move faster than our best warships. They appear to bend space around them, creating their own gravity fields. Most disturbing, our sensors indicate their hulls are made from materials that should not exist." Senator Young Mi leaned forward. "Are you saying they have weapons we cannot defend against?" "I'm saying they have technology we cannot understand. Whether they choose to use it as weapons remains to be seen." The Empress looked around the room. Fear was spreading among her advisors. The Dominion had always been the strongest force in the galaxy. The idea that something more powerful existed was difficult to accept. "What do they want?" she asked. Admiral Taemin consulted his notes. "They request a meeting with our leadership. They speak of matters of mutual interest and cooperation. They claim to come in peace." General Chan Ho, leader of the military faction, stood abruptly. "Your Majesty, this is clearly a trick. No civilization can remain hidden from us. We have explored most of the galaxy. These beings are lying about their origins." "Then where do they come from?" asked the Empress. "They must be from beyond our borders, perhaps from another galaxy entirely. They could be scouts for an invasion force." Jae Sung shook his head. "General, if they wanted to invade, they would not announce themselves. A force with this technology could attack without warning. The fact that they seek dialogue suggests peaceful intentions." "Or it suggests they want us to lower our guard," Chan Ho replied. The debate continued for hours. Some council members wanted to attack immediately. Others suggested hiding and hoping the humans would leave. A few, led by Ambassador Subin, argued for cautious contact. Subin was young for an ambassador, but she had successfully negotiated with difficult alien species before. She stood and waited for permission to speak. "Your Majesty, may I suggest a compromise?" Speak. We should meet with them, but under careful conditions. A single ship meeting in neutral space, small delegations from both sides. If they truly seek peace, they will agree. If they plan treachery, we can escape. Political advisor Wu Jin nodded approvingly. Ambassador Subin speaks wisdom. We learn nothing by hiding or fighting, but we can learn much by talking. General, Chan Ho looked angry. And if they capture our delegation? If this meeting is a trap? Then we will know their true intentions, said Subin. But if we refuse to meet, we learn nothing at all. The Empress considered the options. The Dominion had always solved problems with force, but force seemed useless against these strangers. Admiral Tae-min, what is your military assessment? The Admiral looked uncomfortable. Your Majesty, our weapons had no effect on their ships during our brief encounter. Our sensors cannot penetrate their hulls. If they chose to attack, I am not certain we could defend ourselves. A heavy silence filled the chamber. The most powerful military in the galaxy was admitting defeat before a battle had even begun. Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung, said the Empress. Is there any possibility these humans are lying about their peaceful intentions? Jae Sung thought carefully before answering. Your Majesty, a civilization with this level of technology would have no need for deception. If they wanted our territory or resources, they could simply take them. The fact that they seek dialogue suggests they have different goals. Intelligence Director Hyo Jin, who had been silent until now, stood up. Your Majesty, I have disturbing news to report. Speak. We have found references to humans in some very old files. Reports from early exploration missions over 200 years ago. These reports describe contacts with primitive beings on several worlds in the Outer Rim. The chamber erupted in surprised voices. The Empress raised her hand for silence. Continue. The reports were filed and forgotten because the beings appeared to have basic technology. Stone tools, simple shelters. They were classified as pre-industrial and left alone. Are you suggesting these are the same beings? I am suggesting that what we thought were primitive creatures may have been something else entirely. Ambassador Subin stepped forward. Your Majesty, this supports the case for dialogue. If these humans have been in our galaxy for centuries, without causing problems, they may indeed be peaceful. General Chan Ho disagreed. Or they have been secretly building their strength, preparing for conquest. The debate might have continued all day, but a communication alert interrupted. Admiral Tae-min received a message from the border fleet. Your Majesty, the humans have sent another transmission. They offer to meet at coordinates exactly halfway between their ships and ours. They will bring one small vessel with a minimal crew. They request we do the same. The offer was reasonable, almost too reasonable. They also include technical specifications for their meeting ship, continued the Admiral. No weapons, minimal shields, simple construction. They seem willing to make themselves vulnerable. Empress Na-young made her decision. Ambassador Subin, you will lead our delegation. Take a small diplomatic ship with minimal escort. Admiral Tae-min, you will accompany her with a small military advisement staff. Your Majesty, protested General Chan Ho, this is dangerous. We should send our most powerful ships. General, if these humans can defeat our entire fleet, sending more ships will not help. But if they truly seek peace, arriving with massive military force will insult them. The Empress looked around the chamber one final time. The decision is made. We will meet with these humans and learn what they want, but we will be prepared for any outcome. As the council session ended, members filed out discussing the implications. Some still wanted war, others hoped for peace. All of them knew that the galaxy was about to change. In her private chambers later that evening, Empress Na Young stared out at the stars. Somewhere out there, beings called humans were waiting to meet with her representatives. She wondered if this meeting would save the Dominion or destroy it. The answer would come soon enough. The meeting point floated in empty space between the two fleets. Admiral Tae Min watched through the viewing screen as the human shuttle approached. It was small and simple, nothing like the advanced ship they had seen before. Ambassador Subin checked her diplomatic protocols one more time. She had met with dozens of alien species during her career, but never with beings who claimed to be more advanced than the Dominion. Human shuttle on approach, reported Navigation Officer Kehoe. They're requesting permission to dock. Grant permission, said Admiral Tae Min. The docking was smooth and quiet. No alarms, no weapon alerts, just two ships connecting in the darkness of space. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Two figures stepped through, wearing simple blue uniforms. The first was tall and confident, with graying hair and calm eyes. The second was younger, carrying a metal briefcase. I am Captain Dong Hyun, said the first human. This is Engineer Kyung Soo. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. Ambassador Subin stepped forward. I am Ambassador Subin of the Calvarian Dominion. This is Admiral Tae Min, our military representative. The humans nodded politely. Captain Dong-hyun looked around the Dominion ship with what seemed like mild interest. Your vessel is well constructed, he said, though we notice you still use quantum fusion reactors. Interesting choice. Admiral Tae Min frowned. Quantum fusion was the most advanced power source in Dominion technology. How did these humans know about it just by looking? They moved to the ship's conference room. The humans sat down without any signs of nervousness or fear. They seemed completely relaxed. Captain Dong-hyun, began Ambassador Subin. Our records show no planet called Earth. Can you explain where your people come from? The human smiled. Of course. Kyung-soo, if you would. The engineer opened his briefcase and activated a device inside. Suddenly, the conference room filled with a three-dimensional star map. But this map showed things that weren't in any dominion. Database. This is our local galactic region, said Captain Dong-hyun. The points of light you see are human colonies. Admiral Tae Min stared at the display. Hundreds of light points dotted the map, maybe thousands. Many were in areas the Dominion considered empty space. This is impossible, he said. We have explored these regions. There are no inhabited worlds there. Captain Dong-hyun looked genuinely puzzled. Explored? Admiral, your people have sent a few survey ships through these areas, but I wouldn't call that exploration. Most of your vessels never stop to investigate properly. Engineer Kyung-soo touched the display, and it zoomed in on a specific system. This world, for example, your survey ship classified it as uninhabitable because of the radiation from the twin suns. You never detected our underground cities. Underground cities? Asked Ambassador Subin. We prefer to live below ground on high radiation worlds. Better protection, more stable temperatures. This particular world houses about 50 million humans. 50 million. On a world the Dominion had written off as useless. The display changed. Again, showing another system. This ocean world was classified as no intelligent life detected. Your surveys were correct. There was no intelligent life there when you visited. But we colonized it about 80 years ago. We quite enjoy underwater cities. Admiral Tae Min felt a growing sense of unreality. Are you saying your people have been colonizing space while remaining completely hidden from us? Captain Dong Hyun exchanged a look with his engineer. Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We haven't been hiding from you. We simply didn't consider it necessary to announce ourselves. What do you mean? Your dominion has been expanding through this region for several centuries. We've been aware of your presence, of course, but your expansion has been limited to certain types of worlds, planets similar to your home world, with breathable atmospheres and familiar gravity. The human gestured at the star map. We humans are more adaptable. We can live on worlds you consider uninhabitable, underground, underwater, in asteroid belts, even in the atmospheres of gas giants. Most of the places we've colonized, your people wouldn't want anyway. Engineer Kyung-soo smiled. We thought of your expansion like gardening. You plant flowers in the nice sunny spots. We don't mind living in the shade. Ambassador Subin struggled to understand. But surely our sensors would have detected your presence? Our ships patrol these regions regularly. Ambassador, said Captain Dong Hyun gently, your sensors are designed to look for energy signatures similar to your own technology. We use different methods for power and construction. To your sensors, our cities probably look like natural, geological formations. The star map changed again, showing the location of Dominion worlds in relation to human colonies. The pattern was clear. Humans had built their civilization in the spaces between Dominion territory. How long has this been going on? Asked Admiral Tae-min. Our first colony ships left Earth about 300 years ago, replied Captain Dong Hyun. We've been establishing ourselves in this galaxy for quite some time. 300 years. The same time period the Dominion had been expanding. The humans had been colonizing alongside them, completely unnoticed. But why reveal yourselves now? Asked Ambassador Subin. Captain Dong Hyun's expression became more serious. Because your recent expansion has begun to interfere with our territory. Not intentionally, I'm sure. But some of your new colonies are being established very close to our existing settlements. Engineer Kyung-soo activated another display. This system here. You established a mining operation last year. The asteroid you're mining is actually the location of one of our small research stations. Admiral Tae-min stared at the display. We detected no signs of habitation. Because you weren't looking for signs of our kind of habitation, explained Kyung-soo. Our research station is built inside the asteroid. Your miners have been working directly above our laboratories. Are your people in danger? Asked Ambassador Subin, suddenly concerned. Captain Dong Hyun waved his hand dismissively. Oh no, we relocated the researchers months ago. But the situation illustrates our problem. As your expansion continues, these conflicts will become more common. The room was quiet as the Dominion representatives absorbed this information. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy was wrong. Captain Dong Hyun, said Admiral Tae-min slowly, you speak as if your people are far more numerous than ours. We are, replied the human simply. Current estimates suggest the human population in this galaxy is approximately 40 billion individuals across several thousand worlds. 40 billion. The entire Dominion population was only about 12 billion. But you could have revealed yourselves at any time, said Ambassador Subin. Why wait until now? Captain Dong Hyun leaned back in his chair. Ambassador, your Dominion has been a stabilizing force in this region. You've prevented wars, stopped pirate activities, and maintained order. We saw no reason to interfere with that. You've been watching us? We've been aware of you. There's a difference. We generally prefer not to interfere with developing civilizations unless necessary. Developing civilizations. The phrase hit Admiral Taemin like a physical blow. The Dominion, the most powerful empire in the galaxy, was considered a developing civilization by these humans. "What do you want from us?" asked Ambassador Subin. "Cooperation," said Captain Dong Hyun. "We propose a simple agreement. You continue governing your current territory as you see fit. We'll provide you with updated star charts showing which regions contain human settlements. Future expansion can be planned to avoid conflicts." Engineer Kyung-soo added, "We're also prepared to offer some technological assistance in exchange for raw materials we need for our expansion." "What kind of technological assistance?" asked Admiral Taemin. The humans exchanged another look. Captain Dong Hyun seemed to be considering how much to reveal. Medical technology to extend lifespans. Energy systems that are more efficient than quantum fusion. Terraforming techniques to make marginal worlds habitable. Communication systems that work instantly across galactic distances. Each item on the list represented advances that would revolutionize Dominion society. And what do you want in return? Access to certain rare metals that are common in your territory but scarce in ours. Permission to establish supply stations in strategic locations. Nothing that would interfere with your activities. Ambassador Subin realized she was witnessing history. The first time the Dominion had negotiated with equals. Or perhaps, superiors. "We will need to discuss this with our leadership," she said. "Of course," replied Captain Dong Hyun. "We're not in any hurry. We've waited this long to make contact. We can wait a bit longer for your decision." As the meeting ended, Admiral Taemin had one final question. "Captain, if your people are so advanced, why do you need anything from us at all?" Captain Dong Hyun smiled. "Admiral, no civilization succeeds alone. We believe in cooperation and mutual benefit. Your people have qualities we value: organization, determination, loyalty. We hope to build a friendship that benefits both our civilizations." The humans departed as quietly as they had arrived, leaving the Dominion representatives to contemplate a galaxy far stranger and more complex than they had ever imagined. 3 days after the first meeting, Captain Dong Hyun sent an invitation to the Dominion delegation. Admiral Taemin read the message twice before believing it. "They want to show us a routine construction project," he told Ambassador Subin. "They say it will help us understand human capabilities without appearing threatening." Ambassador Subin looked at the coordinates. "The Kepler system? We had a mining operation there until last year. The ore ran out. They want us to bring our best scientists and engineers. They promise we'll find it educational." The Dominion sent a small observation fleet to the Kepler system. Admiral Taemin commanded from his flagship, accompanied by Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung and a team of the Empire's top technical experts. When they arrived, they found something that defied explanation. The human ship floating near Kepler's dying star was enormous. Not just large, the thing was the size of a small moon. It hung in space like a metal mountain, covered with structures and equipment that served unknown purposes. "My God," whispered Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung. "How did they build something that big?" Captain Dong Hyun's voice came over the communication system. "Welcome to the Kepler system, Admiral Taemin. Please dock with Bay 7 on our construction ship Busan's Hammer. Engineer Kyung-soo will give you a tour." Docking Bay 7 was larger than most Dominion ships. As they entered, the Dominion representatives saw hundreds of smaller human vessels, moving in and out of the giant ship like insects around a hive. Engineer Kyung-soo met them at the airlock. He wore a simple work uniform and carried what looked like a standard tablet computer. "Welcome aboard," he said cheerfully. "I hope you don't mind, but we're in the middle of a project. We'll be working while we talk." They walked through corridors that stretched beyond sight. Humans moved past them, carrying equipment and discussing technical details in casual voices. "What exactly are you building here?" asked Admiral Taemin. "Stellar maintenance," replied Kyung-soo. "Kepler's star is dying. Red giant phase, you know. In about 50,000 years, it'll expand and destroy any planets in this system. We're going to fix that." Chief Science Advisor Jae-sung stopped, walking. "Fix a dying star? That's impossible." "Not impossible. Difficult, maybe. But we need this system stable for our long-term plans." They entered a vast chamber with transparent walls showing the view of space. Hundreds of humans worked at control stations managing displays that showed incredible complexity. Worker Ji-hoon looked up from his station. "Kyung-soo, we're ready to begin the mass extraction phase. All safety protocols are active." "Excellent. Admiral Taemin, you might want to watch this." Through the transparent walls, they could see the dying star. Suddenly, streams of matter began flowing away from its surface. Not violent solar flares, but controlled streams of stellar material being carefully drawn away. "You're removing matter from the star's core," said Jae-sung, his voice filled with awe. "We're removing the excess helium that's causing the expansion," explained Kyung-soo. "Think of it as surgery. We take out the parts that are causing problems." Supervisor Min-ho joined their group. "The extraction is proceeding smoothly. We should have the stellar mass reduced by 12% within 6 hours. Admiral Taemin watched streams of star stuff flowing through space toward collection vessels. "Where are you getting the energy for this?" "Parallel dimensional tap," said Min-ho casually. "We borrowed a bit of energy from a dimension where physics works slightly differently. Very efficient." The Dominion scientists looked at each other. Parallel dimensions were theoretical concepts, not practical energy sources. "How is that possible?" asked technical specialist So Young. Kyung-soo looked surprised by the question. "You haven't developed dimensional engineering yet? Interesting. We assumed most spacefaring civilizations would have figured that out by now." They moved to another section of the ship. Here, humans were working with what appeared to be solid matter that flowed like liquid. Construction Chief Young-soo was directing the placement of massive structures that seemed to build themselves. "What are those materials?" asked Jae-sung. "Programmable matter," replied Young-soo. "We tell it what shape we need, and it forms itself accordingly. Much easier than traditional construction methods." Admiral Taemin watched a structure the size of a Dominion cruiser take shape in minutes. The material flowed into position and solidified into complex geometric patterns. "How long would it take your people to build something like that?" asked Young-soo. "With our best construction crews and equipment? 6 months, maybe a year." Young-soo nodded. "We thought it might be something like that. This approach is much faster." They continued the tour, seeing technology that seemed magical. Humans casually manipulated gravity, created temporary space-time distortions, and controlled energy in ways that violated Dominion understanding of physics. The most shocking moment came when they reached the main engineering section. Construction Chief Young-soo was standing before a control panel the size of a wall, covered with displays showing stellar data. "Are you ready to see the real demonstration?" he asked. "There's more," said Admiral Taemin. Young-soo smiled. The star extraction was just preparation. Now we do the actual repair. He pressed several controls. Through the viewing windows, they could see new activity around the star. Massive machines, each one larger than a Dominion space station, moved into position around the stellar surface. We're going to inject quantum-stabilized hydrogen into the star's core, explained Young Soo. This will restart the fusion process and extend the star's life by about 4 million years. Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung sat down heavily in a nearby chair. You're restarting stellar fusion. You're giving a dead star new life. Dying star, corrected Young Soo. If it were actually dead, this would be much more complicated. The process took 3 hours. The Dominion representatives watched in amazement as the star's color slowly changed from red back to yellow. Its energy output increased. Solar flares, which had been weak and irregular, became strong and steady again. There, said Young Soo with satisfaction. That should keep this system stable for several million years, long enough for our purposes. Engineer. Kyung Soo led them back toward the docking bay. I hope this demonstration was helpful. We wanted you to understand our capabilities without seeming threatening. Admiral Taemin laughed, but there was no humor in it. Captain, you just performed stellar engineering as a casual demonstration. Our most advanced weapons couldn't scratch that star, and you rebuilt it in an afternoon. Oh, weapons, said Kyung Soo, as if just remembering something unimportant. We don't really do weapons. Seems like a waste of good engineering. You don't have weapons. Not in the way you mean. We have tools that could be used destructively. Of course, the same technology that just repaired that star could probably destroy it completely. But why would we want to do that? As they returned to their ship, Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung was unusually quiet. Finally, Admiral Taemin asked what he was thinking. Admiral, I've spent my entire career studying the most advanced technology in the Dominion. Today, I watched. Humans perform miracles as routine work. They manipulate matter at the quantum level like we manipulate simple tools. They control energy sources we can't even detect. What are you saying? I'm saying that everything we thought we knew about science and technology is primitive compared to what these humans can do. They're not just more advanced than us. They're so far beyond us that we can barely understand what we're seeing. Admiral Taemin looked back at the human construction ship. It was already moving on to its next project, treating the repair of a dying star as just another day's work. And they're offering to share some of this technology with us? Apparently. Though I suspect what they consider basic technology would seem like magic to us. Back on the human ship, Engineer Kyung Soo reported to Captain Dong Hyun. How did they react to the demonstration? About as expected. Shock, disbelief, some fear, but also curiosity. I think they're beginning to understand our capabilities. Good. It's important they know we're not threatening them from a position of desperation. When beings know you could destroy them easily, they're more likely to believe you when you say you don't want to. What's our next step? Captain Dong Hyun looked at the data from their negotiations. We wait. We've shown them what we can do. Now we let them decide how they want to proceed. In the Dominion fleet, Admiral Taemin was already sending reports back to Empress Na-young. He wasn't sure how to explain what he had seen, but he knew one thing for certain. The galaxy had just become a much larger and more complex place than anyone in the Dominion had ever imagined. The emergency session of the High Council had been running for 6 hours. Empress Na-young watched as her most trusted advisors argued with increasing intensity. Admiral Taemin's report had shattered every assumption about the Dominion's place in the galaxy. General Chan Ho slammed his fist on the council table. Your Majesty, we cannot allow this challenge to go unanswered. The Dominion has ruled this galaxy for 3 centuries. We cannot simply accept that some hidden civilization is more powerful than us. Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung shook his head wearily. General, you weren't there. You didn't see what they can do. They repaired a dying star like we might repair a broken machine. Our most powerful weapons would be useless against them. Then we build better weapons. With what technology? General, they manipulate energy sources we can't even detect. They control matter at levels we don't understand. Building better weapons would take us centuries to catch up, assuming we could figure out how to do it at all. Ambassador Subin stood to address the council. Your Majesty, I believe we must consider the humans' offer seriously. They're not demanding our surrender. They're not taking our territory. They simply want to avoid conflicts as both our civilizations expand. Political. Advisor Wu Jin nodded in agreement. The ambassador speaks wisdom. These humans have been in our galaxy for 300 years without causing us any harm. If they wanted to conquer us, they could have done so at any time. General Chan Ho turned on them angrily. You're all fools. This is obviously a trick. They reveal themselves now because they're ready to strike. All this talk of cooperation is meant to make us lower our defenses. Intelligence Director Hyo Jin raised her hand for attention. Your Majesty, I have new information that may influence this discussion. Speak. Over the past week, I've been investigating the humans' claims about their presence in our galaxy. The results are disturbing. Hyojin activated a holographic display showing a map of Dominion space. Red dots appeared throughout the territory. These locations represent incidents over the past 50 years that we attributed to equipment, malfunctions, natural phenomena, or unexplained readings. After reviewing them with knowledge of human capabilities, I believe many were actually encounters with human technology. Governor Huan Su leaned forward. What kind of encounters? Survey ships reporting impossible energy readings from empty space. Mining operations finding refined materials in asteroids that should have contained only raw ore. Research stations detecting artificial gravity fields where none should exist. More red dots appeared on the map as Hyojin continued. In every case, our investigators found no satisfactory explanation. We classified the incidents as unsolved and moved on. But if the humans were present in these locations, they've been watching us for decades, finished Admiral Taemin grimly. The council chamber erupted in angry voices. Several members stood and shouted accusations. The idea that the Dominion had been observed without their knowledge was humiliating. Empress Na Young called for silence. Intelligence Director Hyojin, is there more? Yes, Your Majesty. I've also discovered evidence of unauthorized technological improvements on several border worlds. Planets reporting significant advances in agriculture, medicine, and manufacturing that they claim to have developed independently. She highlighted several systems on the map. These worlds have achieved improvements that should have taken decades of research. When questioned, local leaders claim the advances came from innovative local scientists or lucky discoveries. Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung studied the data. Those improvements show signs of technology beyond our current capabilities. If the humans have been secretly helping these worlds, it would explain their rapid development, agreed Hyojin. Your Majesty, I believe the humans have been quietly influencing our civilization's growth for years. This revelation caused even more chaos in the council chamber. The idea that their own technological progress might have been guided by hidden aliens was almost too much to accept. General Chan Ho stood again, his face red with anger. This proves they've been manipulating us. They're not peaceful observers. They're puppet masters pulling our strings. Political advisor Wu Jin disagreed. General, if they wanted to control us, they could do so openly. Instead, they helped our border worlds develop better farming and medicine. How is that harmful? Because it means we're not in control of our own destiny. The debate raged on. Some council members wanted immediate military action, despite the obvious futility. Others argued for complete cooperation with the humans. A few suggested trying to hide and hope the humans would ignore the Dominion. Senator Young Mi raised a practical concern. Your Majesty, what about our people? News of these humans is already spreading throughout the Empire. Some planets are panicking. Others are demanding immediate contact with human representatives. How are our citizens reacting? Asked the Empress. It varies by region. The core worlds are mostly frightened. The border worlds seem more interested than afraid. Some are even celebrating, hoping for access to human technology. Admiral Taemin added his own observations. Your Majesty, morale in the fleet is complicated. Some officers want to fight regardless of the odds. Others are asking why we should risk war with beings who could destroy us easily but choose not to. The division was spreading throughout Dominion society. Traditional military leaders wanted to maintain the Empire's strength through force. Younger citizens were excited about the possibility of new technology and peaceful contact. Chief Science Advisor Jae Sung stood to address the council. Your Majesty, I must speak plainly. After seeing human capabilities firsthand, I believe cooperation is our only sensible option. These beings could eliminate the Dominion tomorrow if they chose to. The fact that they prefer negotiation suggests they respect us despite our technological limitations. General Chan Ho scoffed. Respect? They think we're primitives. They've been watching us like animals in a zoo. And yet they offer partnership instead of conquest, replied Jae Sung. General, pride is a luxury we cannot afford when dealing with beings who can restart dying stars. The Empress listened to the arguments with growing frustration. Every option seemed to have serious drawbacks. Cooperation meant admitting the Dominion was no longer the supreme power in the galaxy. Resistance seemed to guarantee destruction. Isolation was probably impossible given human capabilities. Intelligence Director Hyo Jin presented one final piece of information. Your Majesty, there's something else. Some of our border worlds have reported unusual ship movements in recent days. Not human vessels, unknown ships that don't match any civilization in our databases. More aliens? Possibly. Or perhaps the humans aren't the only hidden civilization in our galaxy. This possibility sent new waves of concern through the Council. If there were other unknown powers besides the humans, the situation was even more complex than they had realized. Ambassador Subin spoke into the worried silence. Your Majesty, this information makes cooperation with the humans even more important. If there are other powerful civilizations out there, we need allies who can help us deal with them. General Chan Ho made one final argument. Your Majesty, if we accept human superiority now, we will never be able to challenge them later. Our people will lose the will to advance, to grow stronger. We'll become dependent on their technology forever. Political advisor Wu Jin shook his head. General, that assumes our only options are domination or submission. The humans seem to prefer cooperation between equals, even if we're not actually equal in capability. The debate could have continued all night, but Empress Na Young finally called for order. The decision was hers to make, and she had heard enough arguments. Members of the High Council, I will consider all your advice carefully. For now, we will continue diplomatic contact with the humans while maintaining our military readiness. General Chan Ho, you will prepare our defenses, but you will not take aggressive action without my direct orders. Your Majesty, I must protest. The discussion is ended, General. Ambassador Subin, you will continue negotiations with the human representatives. I want to know exactly what they're offering and what they expect in return. As the council session ended, Empress Na Young remained in her chair, staring at the holographic map of her empire. Red dots marked dozens of locations where humans had been present without her knowledge. She had always believed the Dominion was the greatest power in the galaxy. Now she knew they were merely one civilization among many, and not even the most advanced. The question was whether the Dominion could adapt to this new reality, or if it would tear itself apart trying to maintain an illusion of supremacy that no longer existed. Outside the council chamber, General Chan Ho met with his most trusted military advisors. If the Empress wouldn't authorize action against the humans, perhaps it was time to consider other options. The Dominion's greatest crisis was just beginning. General Chan Ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Strength, surrounded by his most loyal officers. 3 days had passed since the Empress ordered him to maintain defensive positions only. 3 days of watching the Dominions, pride crumble, while strange aliens dictated terms to the galaxy's rightful rulers. "Sir," reported Captain Xiang Min, "the human survey vessel has entered the Rigel system. It's maintaining the same course and speed as before." Chan Ho studied the tactical display. One small human ship, alone and apparently undefended. The perfect opportunity to demonstrate that the Dominion would not be intimidated. Fleet status? 12 dreadnoughts, 8 heavy cruisers and 40 escort vessels standing by. All weapons charged and ready. Colonel In Wu, Chan Ho's chief tactical advisor, looked uncomfortable. "Sir, the Empress specifically ordered no aggressive action without her approval." "The Empress is being influenced by cowards and fools," replied Chan Ho. "Someone must show these humans that the Dominion still has strength." He turned to address his bridge crew. "Today, we remind the galaxy who rules this space. We will disable that human vessel and capture its crew. When our scientists examine their technology, we'll learn their weaknesses." The plan was simple and overwhelming. 49 Dominion warships against one small human survey ship. Even with advanced technology, the humans couldn't possibly fight so many vessels at once. "All ships, this is General Chan Ho. We will approach the human vessel in standard battle formation. Disable their engines and weapons, but avoid destroying them. We want prisoners and technology." The Dominion fleet moved toward the human ship like a vast metal cloud. On the tactical displays, the single human vessel appeared impossibly small against the assembled might of the Empire's finest warships. Aboard the human survey ship Daigu's Wonder, researcher Seung Ho was studying gravitational anomalies in the Rigel system when navigation specialist Heywan noticed the approaching fleet. "Seung Ho, we have company. 49 Dominion vessels approaching at combat speed." Seung Ho looked up from his sensors. 49? That seems excessive for a routine patrol. Security Officer Bo Young checked her defensive systems. "Their weapons are charged and they're in attack formation. I think they mean to fight us." "Fighting?" Seung Ho looked puzzled. "Why would they want to fight? We're just mapping gravitational fields." Survey Captain Jun Ho joined them on the small bridge. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. Try to communicate with them. Bo Young opened a channel to the Dominion fleet. Dominion vessels, this is the Earth ship Daegu's Wonder. We're conducting peaceful scientific research. Is there a problem? General Say. Chan Ho's voice came back immediately. Human vessel, you are trespassing in Dominion space. Shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Captain Jun Ho frowned. We received permission to study this system from Ambassador Subin. Perhaps there was a communication error. The Dominion fleet was now close enough to engage. General Chan Ho decided to end the conversation. Open fire! Disable that ship! Energy beams and missile volleys erupted from the Dominion fleet. 49 warships unleashed everything they had at the small human vessel. On the human ship, alarms finally started sounding. Security Officer Bo Young looked at her displays with mild concern. Seung Ho, they're actually shooting at us. Their weapons are causing interference with my sensors. How inconsiderate, replied Seung Ho. I'm right in the middle of measuring microgravitational fluctuations. The energy discharge is ruining my readings. Bo Young activated the ship's defensive systems. A shimmering field appeared around the human vessel, absorbing the incoming weapons fire like water hitting a sponge. On the Dominion flagship, tactical displays showed impossible results. Their most powerful weapons were having no effect on the human ship. Sir, called Captain Shung Min. Direct hits on target, but no damage detected. Their defensive systems are absorbing everything we throw at them. General Chan Ho stared at the tactical display. Impossible! Increase fire rate! All ships, maximum power! The Dominion fleet doubled their attack. Energy beams that could destroy asteroids struck the human ship continuously. Missiles designed to crack open heavy armor exploded harmlessly against the shimmering defensive field. Aboard the human vessel, Security Officer Bo Young was getting annoyed. Captain Jun Ho, this is becoming disruptive. They're interfering with our scientific equipment. Can you ask them to stop? Bo Young opened the communication channel again. Dominion Fleet, please refrain from targeting our ship with primitive energy weapons. You're causing interference with our sensor calibrations. The words primitive energy weapons hit General Chan Ho like a physical blow. The Dominion's most advanced military technology was being dismissed as primitive. All ships, he shouted. Ram them! If our weapons won't work, we'll crush them with mass. The Dominion vessels began moving toward the human ship at full speed. 49 massive warships preparing to physically destroy their target through Collision. Navigation Specialist Hae-won noticed the new approach. They're trying to ram us now. How strange. Captain Jun Ho sighed. This behavior is most peculiar. Bo Young, please ensure they don't damage themselves. Of course, Captain. Bo Young activated another system. Suddenly, the Dominion ships found their navigation controls unresponsive. Their engines shut down automatically. Their weapon systems went offline. On the Dominion flagship, chaos erupted as systems failed throughout the ship. Sir, reported Engineering Officer Kyung Hwan, we've lost engine control. Navigation is offline. Weapons are not responding. Similar reports came from every ship in the fleet. In seconds, the mighty Dominion armada had been reduced to helpless metal drifting in space. General Chan Ho pounded his fist on the command console. What did they do to us? Captain Jun Ho's voice came over the communication system, sounding genuinely apologetic. Dominion Fleet, we've temporarily disabled your aggressive systems to prevent you from harming yourselves. Your life support and basic systems are unaffected. You attacked us without provocation. General Chan Ho, we defended ourselves from your attack. However, we bear you no ill will. Your ships will regain full function once you return to your home bases. We've programmed your navigation computers with safe return courses. As if to demonstrate, the Dominion ships slowly began turning toward home. Their engines restarted at minimal power, just enough to carry them away from the human vessel. "This is unacceptable," Chan Ho shouted into his communicator. "You cannot treat the Dominion military this way." Researcher Sung Ho's voice replaced Captain Jun Ho's on the channel. "General, we're really quite busy here. These gravitational measurements are time-sensitive. Perhaps you could discuss your concerns with our diplomatic representatives?" The Yus communication ended. The Dominion fleet found themselves on an automated course back to Imperial space, unable to deviate or return to the battle. On the human survey ship, the crew had already returned to their work. "Bo Young," said Captain Jun Ho, "please send a report to Captain Dong Hyun about this incident. He should know that some Dominion forces are still hostile." "Already done, Captain. I've also notified our diplomatic staff that the local government appears to be unstable." Researcher Sung Ho looked up from his instruments. "Could you ask them to be more unstable somewhere else? This gravitational research is quite important." Back on the Dominion flagship, General Chan Ho watched helplessly as his fleet was escorted home by automated systems they couldn't override. The most humiliating defeat in Dominion history had lasted less than 10 minutes. Colonel In Woo tried to find something positive in the disaster. "Sir, at least we learned something about their capabilities." "What did we learn?" "That we can't fight them. Their defensive systems made our weapons useless. They disabled our entire fleet without even trying to hurt us," Captain Sung Min added quietly. "Sir, they could have destroyed us easily. Instead, they just sent us home. Like we were misbehaving children." The comparison was painfully accurate. The humans had treated the Dominion's mightiest fleet like a minor annoyance, dealing with them quickly and dismissively before returning to more important matters. News of the failed attack spread throughout the Empire within hours. Some citizens were outraged by the humiliation. Others wondered why their military had attacked peaceful researchers in the first place. On many worlds, people began asking uncomfortable questions. If the Dominion's best weapons couldn't even scratch a single human ship, how could the military protect them from anything? Empress Nei Young received reports of the incident while meeting with her civilian advisors. The attack she had specifically forbidden had failed spectacularly, weakening the Empire's position even further. "Your Majesty," said political advisor Wu Jin, "General Chan Ho's unauthorized attack has created a crisis. The humans were perfectly within their rights to destroy our fleet. Instead, they sent them home unharmed." And what message does that send? That they're not interested in conquest through violence, but also that our military power is irrelevant compared to theirs. Intelligence Director Hyo Jin brought more troubling news. "Your Majesty, we're receiving reports of uprisings on 7 worlds. Citizens demanding to know why their invincible military cannot protect them." The Dominion was fracturing. 3 centuries of rule based on military supremacy had, 6 weeks after General Chan Ho's failed attack, Empress Na Young stood at the observation deck of her personal transport ship. Through the transparent walls, she could see something that had appeared overnight in what had been empty space. A massive human structure that defied easy description. The human embassy station was beautiful and impossible. Flowing curves of unknown materials caught and reflected starlight in patterns that seemed almost alive. The structure was enormous, easily the size of a major city, yet it appeared to float effortlessly in space without any visible support systems. Yor. "Majesty," said Ambassador Subin, joining her at the observation deck, "the humans are ready to receive us." The Empress had made her decision after days of debate with her council. The failed military action had proven beyond doubt that resistance was futile. The only path forward was negotiation and cooperation, however painful that might be for Dominion pride. "Have the terms of General Chan Ho's court-martial been finalized?" "Yes, Your Majesty. He has been stripped of rank and assigned to administrative duties on a border world. The military leadership understands that unauthorized attacks will not be tolerated." It was a necessary sacrifice. The humans had made it clear that they would only negotiate with stable, reliable governments. Empress Na Young had to prove that the Dominion could control its own military. Their shuttle docked with the human station through an airlock that adjusted itself automatically to fit their ship. Inside, they were greeted by beings who looked remarkably ordinary despite their incredible capabilities. Diplomatic Coordinator Sang-wook was a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a patient manner. "Your Majesty, welcome to our embassy station. I hope your journey was comfortable." Cultural Liaison Ye-jin, a younger woman with an easy smile, gestured toward the interior of the station. "We've prepared spaces that should be familiar to your people. We want you to feel at ease during our discussions." As they walked through the station, Empress Na Young was struck by how normal everything seemed. The humans wore simple clothing, spoke quietly among themselves, and treated the Dominion delegation with casual courtesy. Nothing about their behavior suggested they considered themselves superior beings. The meeting chamber was large but comfortable, with furniture that accommodated both human and Dominion physiology. Large windows showed the view of space, including the Dominion fleet maintaining a respectful distance from the station. "Your Majesty," began Sang-wook, "we appreciate your willingness to establish formal diplomatic relations. This represents a significant step forward for both our civilizations." Empress Na Young had prepared herself for this moment. "Coordinator Sang-wook, the Dominion recognizes that we misjudged the situation regarding human presence in this galaxy. We are prepared to discuss mutually beneficial arrangements. The admission was difficult but necessary. For the first time in 3 centuries, the Dominion was acknowledging another power as superior. Cultural Liaison Ye-jin activated a holographic display showing star charts. "We've prepared preliminary territorial agreements that should prevent future conflicts. These maps show current human settlements and planned expansion areas." The display revealed the true scope of human civilization. Thousands of worlds, research stations, and construction projects dotted the galaxy. The Dominion controlled impressive territory, but it was just one region among many in human space. "As you can see," continued Ye-jin, "there are many areas where our territories don't overlap. We believe both civilizations can continue to grow without interfering with each other." Admiral Tae-min, who had accompanied the Empress, studied the maps carefully. "What about systems that both our peoples might want to colonize?" Sang-wook smiled. "We propose joint committees to evaluate such situations. In most cases, we can find solutions that benefit everyone. For example, you might prefer planets with breathable atmospheres, while we often prefer worlds you would consider uninhabitable." The negotiations continued for hours, covering trade agreements, territorial boundaries, and technology exchange. The humans were surprisingly generous, offering advanced medical technology, improved energy systems, and terraforming assistance. Medical researcher Dae-hai presented information that made Empress Na Young's advisors gasp in amazement. These treatments can extend typical lifespans by 200 to 300 years while maintaining good health throughout that time. "And you would share this technology with us?" asked the Empress. "Selected applications, yes. We believe all sapient beings deserve long, healthy lives." Resource Manager Seok Jin explained the economic proposals. "We're interested in accessing certain rare metals that are abundant in your territory but scarce in ours. In exchange, we can provide manufacturing techniques that will increase your industrial efficiency by several thousand%. The offers were almost too good to believe. Everything the Dominion had struggled to achieve through conquest, the humans were willing to provide through cooperation. "What do you gain from these arrangements?" asked Ambassador Subin. "Cultural," Liaison Ye-Jin answered thoughtfully. "Stability, friendship, and the opportunity to help another civilization reach its potential. We've learned that galaxies thrive when different species work together rather than competing destructively. And if we refuse these offers?" Diplomatic Coordinator Sang-Wook spread his hands. "Then you refuse them. We're not forcing these agreements on anyone. However, we hope you'll find cooperation more beneficial than isolation." The unspoken message was clear. The humans would continue their expansion regardless of Dominion cooperation. The only question was whether the Empire would benefit from the relationship or be left behind. Empress Na Young asked the question that had been troubling her most. "Coordinator Sang-Wook, your people have capabilities that seem almost godlike to us. Why do you need anything from civilizations like ours?" Sang-Wook considered his answer carefully. "Your Majesty, no civilization succeeds alone, regardless of its capabilities. Your people have qualities we value greatly: organizational, skills, determination, loyalty, and the ability to maintain order across vast territories. You see us as useful? We see you as partners. Human civilization has grown powerful through cooperation with many different species. Each brings unique perspectives and abilities. The Dominion has proven it can govern effectively and maintain peace across hundreds of worlds. These are valuable skills." Cultural Liaison Ye-Jin added, "We're not interested in ruling other civilizations. Governance is complicated and time-consuming. We prefer to focus on exploration, research, and construction. We're happy to leave administration to those who do it well." The revelation was both humbling and hopeful. The humans weren't trying to replace the Dominion. They wanted to work with it. As the formal negotiations concluded, Sang-Wook presented the final agreements. These treaties established the Galactic Cooperative, a voluntary association of civilizations committed to peaceful development and mutual assistance. "The Dominion would be a founding member?" asked Empress Na Young. "If you choose to join, yes. The cooperative would handle interspecies disputes, coordinate exploration of uncharted regions, and facilitate technology and cultural exchange." Admiral Taman voiced a concern many Dominion citizens shared. "What happens to our military forces under this arrangement?" "They become peacekeeping forces," replied Sang-Wook. "Instead of conquering new worlds, they would protect developing civilizations from pirates, natural disasters, and other threats. Quite honestly, your military is well-trained and disciplined. We could use their help maintaining order in remote regions." The proposal transformed the Dominion military from conquerors into protectors. It was a radical change, but it preserved their pride and purpose. "We'll need time to present these agreements to our people," said Empress Na Young. "Of course. This is a major decision that affects everyone in your civilization. Take all the time you need. As the Dominion delegation prepared to leave, Cultural Liaison Ye Jin made one final offer. Your Majesty, we'd like to invite a group of your scientists and engineers to visit some of our research facilities. Not to steal our technology, but to understand what's possible when civilizations work together. What would they see? Projects that benefit entire star systems, worlds being transformed from barren rocks into garden paradises, research into phenomena that could revolutionize life for billions of beings. The invitation was irresistible. Even if the Dominion chose not to join the cooperative, the knowledge they could gain would be invaluable. During the journey back to Dominion space, Empress Na Young reflected on what she had learned. The humans weren't conquerors or destroyers. They were builders and gardeners, nurturing civilizations toward greater things. Your Majesty, said Ambassador Subin, what are your thoughts about the proposals? I think we have no choice but to accept them. But Subin, I don't think that's a bad thing. These humans could have destroyed us or ignored us. Instead, they're offering us a chance to be part of something greater. The people will need time to adjust to these changes. Yes, but they'll also need time to understand the benefits. Extended lifespans, improved technology, protection from threats we can't handle alone. These are significant advantages. Admiral Taman added his perspective. The military won't like giving up their conquering role, but 1 year after the first human contact, Captain Dong Hyun stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Cooperative Headquarters, watching the morning shift change on the planet below. The facility had been built in the former Dominion capital, System, but everything about it was different now. Where once military parades had demonstrated imperial power, diverse species worked together on projects that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Former Dominion soldiers stood guard alongside human peacekeepers, protecting refugee camps established for species displaced by natural disasters. The transformation had been remarkable and swift. Young, she was no longer called Empress, having been elected as the first coordinator of the Galactic Cooperative, approached him at the viewing area. Captain Dong Hyun, the morning briefing is ready. We have first contact situations developing in 3 sectors. The change in her title reflected the change in everything else. The Dominion's hereditary monarchy had been replaced by a democratic system where leaders were chosen by the beings they served. Na Young had won the first election by an overwhelming margin, earning the trust of not just her own people, but dozens of other species. They walked together toward the briefing room, passing displays that showed the scope of cooperative activities across the galaxy. Terraforming projects had transformed 17 barren worlds into habitable paradises. Medical programs had eliminated 12 major diseases that had plagued various species for centuries. Educational exchanges had produced breakthroughs in science and culture that benefited everyone. How are the former military leaders adapting to their new roles? Asked Dong Hyun. Better than expected, replied Na Young. Admiral Taman loves his new position coordinating disaster relief operations. He says saving lives is more satisfying than conquering worlds. In the briefing room, they joined Ambassador Subin and Human Liaison Min Jun, who were reviewing reports from contact teams throughout the galaxy. What's our status on the Vega situation? Asked Na Young. Subin consulted her notes. The aquatic species in that system has agreed to meet with our contact team. They're interested in joining the cooperative, but they're concerned about maintaining their underwater cities. Minjun smiled. That's actually perfect. We have extensive experience with underwater habitats. This could be an excellent opportunity for knowledge exchange. The new first contact protocols were radically different from the old Dominion approach. Instead of demanding submission, contact teams offered assistance, protection, and the benefits of cooperative membership. Most species chose to join willingly once they understood the advantages. "Any word from the former General Chanho?" asked Dong-hyun. Na-young's expression became more serious. He's still struggling with the changes. His assignment to border, world administration hasn't gone well. He keeps trying to solve problems with force instead of negotiation. Is he becoming a security risk? Not exactly. His methods are outdated, but his intentions aren't malicious. We're considering